Well, can I go ahead?
Yeah.
What we have done here is tried to create a new expression of Maker's Mark that's different. To do this, we sat down and wrote out in a kind of a brainstorming session, how can we take the flavor that we love and enhance it or change it or make it different in such a way? And what we did is we sat down and we said we wanted to have a sweet toasty oak nose. We want to try and take the caramel, vanilla flavors and kind of amp it up a bit, if you will. We wanted to adjust the proof slightly, but we didn't want the proof to be the flavor. We didn't want it to be that alcohol nose. We didn't want that alcohol burn so that you go, wow, there's more flavor here as a result of alcohol. We also wanted to make it linger a little bit longer. We also wanted it to have a spiciness to it, but never, ever have the bitter backbite that you traditionally get. Makers should be on your left. I want you to just pick the makers up neat and refresh your memory, calibrate your palate, if you will. And as you smell that, wow, I mean, there is some rich caramel vanilla notes. They're very round, it's very toffee-esque. And when you take a sip of it, you see that full flavor to the bourbon. There's a lot of flavor there, but it all finishes on your tongue, rising to a kind of a peak, and then it just softly kind of fades down like a feather floating, making you ready to take another drink. Well, again, why did we do this? We wanted to try and give makers, drinkers who are trying other things for different flavors a little bit more of that. Maybe it was the sharpness that they're getting from rye whiskeys, or maybe it was a spiciness that they were getting from some of those other bourbons, but without really losing that forward taste. When you pick up the Maker's 46, the thing that I want you to note first is the nose. Remember I said sweet, toasty oak. You pick up more wood. Yeah, and the wood aroma that I see here is kind of like a very hot piece of wood before it catches on fire, before it's really a raging campfire. A piece of saw going through wood that is tight and it gets really hot and it actually binds up and you get that smell of burning wood without fire. When you taste it now, I want you to taste it, and then I want you to think about the flavor and watch how it moves out on the front of the tongue, and think baking spices. Now, as it comes out, notice how you continue to taste. Remember talking about the makers kind of building and then kind of softly coming down? Do you feel this, how it's spicy out on the tip of the tongue and continues to climb and grow? And it's almost, if I were to use the term cinnamon spice, you feel cinnamon out on the tip of the tongue. Big red chewing gum is what comes to mind with me, okay? Sorry? Cardamom? Yes. I've heard people say baking spices like nutmeg, allspice. Go back and smell it again. Go back and you can smell your Maker's Mark. Now, I want you to know it's okay to like Maker's Mark. This was meant to be a little edgier. It's meant to be a little spicier. It's meant to linger. Are you still tasting it? I still have that flavor in my mouth. And this is the type of thing that I have a lot of people, they taste this and they go, Maker's has created a rye whiskey. The answer is no. This is Maker's Mark finished in a very unique and special way. And I'll reach into the magic pocket and pull out what has made this so special. It's this piece of wood right here. And I'll pass this around, but this is a piece of French oak that's been seasoned, that means sat outside for 18 months so that it breaks down naturally in northern France. And then it's brought over to the United States. And a creative genius, guy named Brad Boswell, who's the president of Independent State, fourth generation bourbon barrel maker, barrel making family, self-proclaimed wood chef, who actually came to me after I said, Brad, I need some help. I want to create this toasty oak, spicy bourbon using Maker's Mark. I want to start with Maker's Mark, and I want to incorporate a finishing process in the warehouse that will bring out these flavors. Brad came to me excited as can be. He said, I've got all sorts of things you can try, because people in the wine business, people in the other spirits business besides bourbon, come to me all the time asking for these type of things. No one in the bourbon business has ever done this. Well, after many failed experiments with Brad, toasted barrels, quarter cask barrels. Barrels designed, heated in such a way so that they bring out vanilla flavors or bring out spice flavors. And I mean, like a spice rack of things. We finally stumbled upon this piece of French oak seasoned that he took, and the term that he used was not toasted, which toasting is where you use indirect heat over long periods of time. Not charred, where you actually set the wood on fire like you do a bourbon barrel. This is seared, indirect heat on this wood to the point that it's about ready to set on fire, but stop. So that you actually caramelize the sugars on top without burning the sugars up as they go through. If you think about it from a chef's standpoint, when you take it and you throw meat on a hot griddle, or a hot grill, kind of like a Pittsburgh steak, where you just sear the outside at intense heat, then flip it quickly. Notice even in the wood, as I pass this around, how it's kind of not even changed in the middle, just the outside. Okay, and when it comes by, you can smell this. Smell this, and you'll see this great aroma coming out. Now, as I'm passing it around, who goes first? You go first. The thing I want you to think about is, how did I match these two together? Now, with that, I'm going to take a little bit of this, because my ice cream's melting, and I'm going to drop that dude in there. I'm going to put just a little of this Maker's 46 in there. This is the first time I've actually tried Maker's with food, Maker's 46 with food. I'm not going to put it all in there. I want to drink a little of that. I'm going to get my coffee going here. Oh, it overflows. How about that?